Okay, so evaluation question 2. How effective is the combination of your main product and ancillary tasks? Right, so I'm going to talk about them both separately a little bit first. So, music video, main product. We used a wide range of camera techniques during this main product to make it effective. We used, first of all, we changed the angle of the shot, so high angle, low angle. Low angle shots tended to appear in performance very slight because star image is important, so wanted the audience to be looking up to the artists. This was because we felt that indie bands want to inspire and influence, so by looking up at them, that's kind of suggesting that, and it's giving those kind of connotations out to the audience subconsciously. Indie bands want to address topical and political events, such as this one really, the high school shooting. So by doing that, we're looking up to them, we're becoming, you see, I've read quotes and things during my research, and indies want the world to be better, want the people to be better. So by looking up to them, we're saying, yeah, I'm going to grow up to be like that person. I'm not saying that indie bands see perfection in themselves, but that kind of connotation there and suggestion just links to their overall ideas about the world and about music itself, because they feel that music needs to portray message, portray aim, and give meaning, rather than just be about, well, for example, Mark Foster in an interview has kind of not insulted a pop artist, but talks about them in a derogatory fashion, because all that genre tends to cover a lot of the time is love and relationships and breakups and sex, etc. like that. So, you know, the indie songs have much more deeper meaning to them, and I think that's what my low angle camera angles can portray during performance shots. Another time where we used low angle shots was, a good example would be the shot towards the end of the girl going through the door. Now, this puts her in a position of power, which is very effective, as, you know, she's finally broke out from this isolation, from this feeling low, and she's finally got power, even though she isn't wearing the clothes that everyone wears, even though she isn't having fun with them, even though she is different, she can excel, which I think is a deep meaning that Foster people have managed to kind of get across in this song. And so by using this low angle shot, we were able to kind of portray the change in power in the scene and kind of give a reality check for the audience, because at the end of the day, the clothes you wear, what you do with your friends, etc., it isn't the big picture. So there's much more serious things happening in the world than that. And I think, although quite an extreme circumstance, it's kind of still portraying that message. We also used high angle shots in kind of an opposing way. So we used them to obviously make the people look more vulnerable, more sad. So obviously her at the beginning, when she's feeling isolated and she has no power, there's a slight low angle on her, so that high angle, sorry, so that, you know, you can see that she's feeling low, and you can see those inner interior feelings that she's got that aren't coming out until she's on her own, like the bedroom scenes where there's the shots that pan round her and 180 degree around her, so that we can see that she's thinking, she's plotting, she's letting her emotions come out of her, although not in the best of ways. this is obviously very contrasting with the scenes in the bar where she's having fun with her friends, where she's putting on this persona just because she doesn't want to be isolated. She doesn't want to be seen as different. Another example of the high angle shot would be the children hiding under the desk. Although, you know, the high angle helped us to be clear in our what's happening in the scene kind of things. You need to be clear. You've got such a short time in a music video, like 3 or 4 minutes or less, to portray such a detailed narrative that, yeah, you've got to use those kind of shots so that the audience can clearly see what's going on. But also the high angle suggests how vulnerable they are, how weak they are, how they have no power over what's going on. I mean, a girl's walked in with a gun and that's it. Maybe now they're starting to realise that, hey, the clothes I wear aren't that significant. There's much more serious things happening. So that's what we tried to get across with the angles. We also use panning shots to like show the whole scene kind of thing, to get across the whole atmosphere of the scenes. So there's the panning of in the first chorus, the kids in a line all having fun, laughing, joking, talking, and then her on the end looking sad and angry and upset and isolated, which the panning kind of has a realization effect, because you're going along and you're just going along with it. You're seeing that everyone's happy, everyone's having fun, because they're all part of a group, because they all are the same in the big scheme of things. And there's the girl on the end who's different and she's upset. So it's like the audience start to realise what's kind of going on in that shot, just due to the basically hiding something from them for a short amount of time. The realisation is a lot more effective and significant. We also tried to incorporate things like bird's eye view and close up. Close up is significant in every media form. So, you know, film and music video, because at the end of the day, it focuses the audience's attention straight away on whatever you're closing up on. We use them in performance to give a bit of a variety, but I think the most significant close-ups are in the narrative. So a obvious example would be the gun, for example. So closing in on the gun in her hand, it's kind of like shocking. It's like, oh no, this is really happening. This is what's going to happen, and this is again a reality check. Really, it's like, bam, serious event, rather than clothes, shoes, etc. Mise en scène is also rather effective in our video, as you know, the location was really important because we were trying to portray a very close to life narrative. So the school was very, very significant in getting across this story, because at the end of the day, it's about a high school shooting, so we need to have a school in. The costume as well, I mean, overall the song is about how differences can cause this kind of occurrence at the end of things. Like, yes, it's extreme, but, you know, by people being different, they shouldn't be isolated. They should still be allowed to act in the same way as other people, and then all the emotion won't come out of them at the same time if they don't have to hide their real personality under some fake persona. So obviously we used shoes mainly to binary kind of create a binary opposition kind of thing between main character and the gang. So the pumped up kicks were worn by the gang, whereas the Doc Martens by the main character. We're not stating that Doc Martens aren't within fashion, we're saying that they're different to the pumped kicks because they're extremely different style of shoe. I mean, they're boots, whereas the pumped up kicks are style of trainer. So by creating this opposition, the contrast between the characters was made much more clear for the audience. And again, as I've said before, we need to be coherent in our representations because we've got such a short time to get across such a complicated narrative. So that was like the main use of costume, really, that was effective. In our ancillary tasks, the main feature, of course, was the shoe again. So there we go. There's the combination. There's the links between the two already. So we used the shoe with the artwork in the middle to keep it in terms of the conventions and things. We wanted to link it with foster people's real stuff. So we kept the artwork that they created themselves to keep in with the usual indie genre. At the same time as linking to our actual music video, our ancillary tasks. So throughout the ancillary tasks, we've used this shoe. We've used it on the front cover. We've used it on the back of the insert. We've used it on the lyrics. We've also used it on the magazine advert. Although in different ways on all of those, it's still there. It's still keeping them as one consistent and linked together thing, because at the end of the day, they're all products of the same song, which we think is very important to keep them all linked because of that. I think the minimalistic elements of our ancillary tasks were very effective because, as I say, indies just want to get that message out there. So by being minimalistic, we're just saying, look, here's our single, it's out. So I think that was very important when we were creating our advert, because although we used a complicated background, which is challenging the conventions, we still used the big white shoe to grab the attention and say, this is it, this is what we're trying to say. So that's the main effective stuff about the ancillary text. We also used stills from the video within our ancillary tasks. So within our digipack, for example, we used a still of a mid-shot of the main character against the brick wall alongside a quote from Mark Foster. So by doing that, we're still linking with the song in our insert. So Mark Foster's own words are printed over the top of the still, which kind of separates the still from the video and takes it into a new context, because he's saying, this is why I wrote it, and at the same time we're seeing this high school shooter who's got this rebellious nature, smoking against the wall. At the same time, she's wearing these different clothes, and it's while Mark Foster's his quotes talking about how he wants to make the world a better place, he's saying, this person's different, accept them for who they are, don't isolate them for that. We've not isolated them, we've put them into our insert. We also had a pull-out section in our insert of the band, which two of the band pages were stills from the video, performance shots, which I think is very important, because at the end of the day, the audience want to see their band playing live, because it makes them feel part of that tight-knit fan base group, which is very important to give out to the audience, because if the fans don't feel part of the fan base kind of thing, they might stray away, they might not listen to the music anymore. For example, a fan will buy a ticket to go watch them live. It's not because they want to listen to the music as such, because you can listen to that on a CD or online. It's the atmosphere, it's the feel of being part of something big and being inspired by that person. So by including that in the insert, we were able to get that across, and that's especially important in indie pop genre. We also took a few shots while at location during performance shots as like a photo shoot style in order to put them in our insert, which is still in linking with the video because it's the same place. It just looks slightly more professional and thought out. I think overall our combination of main product and ancillary tasks is really quite effective, because as I say, we've got such a short time and such a small amount of space in the ancillary tasks to get across such important messages that our shot types in our main product, for example, they needed to be so clear that I think our shot types especially have got that across, but also our editing effects. So we needed to clear up that the performance and narrative were very separate right from the beginning. So by doing that, we just changed the colour simply. So we had the black and white coloration of the narrative, and then we had the normal coloration of the band, but then we added the orange and blue lighting effects in post-production to create this live effect, so that it's obvious that they're so different. But obviously you've got to include the performance elements as well as the narrative, because the fans want to see the band. That's what they listen to the music for. That's what they research into the band for, because they're fans of those people. So I feel that by mixing them together, by combining the two, it was much more effective than just having the narrative playing, because I feel like the fans would be much more drawn to watch the video to gain that meaning, just because the artists were involved in it. We also used cuts to keep the timeline very fluent. So yeah, we used straight cuts towards the end, mainly because we wanted to show that there was a breakdown, that something was going on, something was changing. Towards the beginning we used fades and slide cuts, because we thought the slides just took one shot into the next, completely flowing it together, and same the fade, like one shot became another. There was one particular shot, the first line of the first chorus, where we overlaid a narrative and a performance. The narrative wasn't greatly significant to the story. It was just simply some pumped up kicks being worn and someone tapping their foot to the beat underneath the singer Oliver, or Mark Foster, miming to the first line of the chorus. But by linking these together, we're making it significant, the meaning and the song and the lyrics, because when the fans see the two together rather than separate, they kind of say or think, this is what Foster the People want me to see. They are part of this. They are the ones that are portraying this video to me, and you know what, I think I'm going to pay more attention to it now. And I think that's a really easy and effective way of just kind of linking the two together and getting that message across and making the message more significant to the fans. Other effects which we added in editing included we've got some poster style shots, I think they're called, on Premiere Pro CS6, which we used. We just used this to highlight the pumped up kicks. So we made the pumped up kicks shoes a lot more colourful in some shots. So we just wanted to highlight that, you know, that's a main theme running through the video, really. And obviously we linked that again in our ancillary tasks. So I think they're the main ways that our products are effective, and they're the ways that they are linked and combined together, mainly. But obviously I've put more onto this video, onto this web page as well, that you can check out on my other thoughts. So that's me done talking now after 18 minutes. Thank you for listening.